Hands where I can see him. Officer Ramsey's voice shattered the stillness. The woman before him froze, briefcase in hand, dressed in a gray suit. Her arms rose, calm but tense. She had no idea this moment would echo across the country. "What are you doing here?" he barked, snatching the briefcase and scattering its contents. Legal documents flying across the sidewalk. "I'm on my way to don't move," he snapped, hand near his holster. She obeyed, lips tight, trying to stay composed as she'd parked a few blocks away. The courthouse was close. She chose to walk until the sirens that, no questions. Just suspicion. "What's in that bag?" he demanded. "Legal documents," she replied. He smirked. "Legal documents? From you." She better pick them up, but he shoved her back. "I said don't move." From a nearby shop, a teenager started recording. Then another. Then a third. "This isn't your neighborhood," Ramsey muttered. "You people always act like you belong." "I have identification," she offered. "Bet it's fake." A second cruiser pulled up. The lieutenant stepped out. "Ramsey, report." "Suspicious subject," he shrugged. "No ID. Walking like she owns the place." The lieutenant glanced at her and stiffened. Ramsey missed it. He was too busy playing the power game. "She's trying to intimidate me," he said. "You think those clothes make you someone?" he said to her. "Think again." "Sir," a witness tried to intervene. "Stay out of this." Ramsey snapped, always playing the victim. The woman's hands shook slightly, but her voice remained even. "Read my name." "What?" "My name." "Read it." He grabbed her ID from the pavement, glanced at it, and stopped cold. The lieutenant stepped closer. "Do it, Ramsey." Ramsey's throat clicked dryly. "You think you're better than me?" he barked. "You're not. Just another damn activist." He slapped her. A gasp rose from the crowd. "You deserve that," he spat, walking around like a queen. She raised her eyes. "You can hit me, insult me, but it won't change who I am." "Ramsey," the lieutenant snapped. "You're out of line. Hand over your weapon." "What?" "I'm doing my job." "No. You assaulted a citizen. Give me your badge." The crowd erupted. "That's what happens when you think black means guilty," someone shouted that a mother pulled her daughter close. "Why's the officer yelling, Mommy?" the girl whispered. "Because he's wrong, baby." But she didn't break. That evening, the video spread like fire. Hashtag who is she? Hashtag justice in progress. Millions watched it on loop. But the woman said nothing. No interviews. No comments. Just silence. The next morning, Fulton County Courthouse, 8:59 a.m. The courtroom was packed. Media. Officers. Ramsey sat in a rumpled suit, eyes sunken. "She's here," someone whispered. But who was she? The prosecution waited. Files neatly stacked. "She used to work at the DOJ." "No, she's a judge. She's connected high up. She's not just anyone." She knew exactly what to do. Then, the doors opened. She walked in poised. Unbroken. Silent. Gasps followed her. Ramsey stared stunned. She didn't sit in the gallery. Not on the witness bench. She walked straight past them all, to the judge's bench. The bailiff rose. "All rise for the honorable." Ramsey's heart pounded. The same name on the ID he mocked, spoken now with reverence. His lawyer whispered, "Say nothing." She sat calm and spoke. "Court is now in session." Ramsey was frozen. She met his eyes once more. And then she raised the gavel and paused. Then the doors opened, and everyone rose. Firm footsteps resonated on the marble floor. Tap, tap, tap. A figure entered in a black robe, serene face, chin held high. She approached the bench. Ramsey didn't even look at her. He was too busy whispering with his lawyer until he heard the strong, clear, unmistakable voice. "This court is in session. I am presiding over this hearing. My name is Judge Eleanor Vance." Ramsey looked up and gasped. It was her, the woman he had stopped, humiliated, and struck the day before. But she was no longer in a suit, nor with the weary face from the street. She was dressed in authority, justice, and power, and she looked down at him from above. The entire room was paralyzed. Judge Vance just stared fixedly and said, "Officer Ramsey, welcome to my courtroom. I hope today you know your place." Ramsey couldn't believe what he saw in her eyes. There she was, on the bench, the woman he had slapped in the middle of the street barely 24 hours earlier. the same one he had called a criminal and used a derogatory term for. Now she was the judge presiding over his case. But far from showing fear, the ex-officer let out a soft, sardonic laugh. He shook his head and mumbled to his lawyer, "This is a joke. A black woman is going to judge me." The lawyer looked uncomfortable. "I advise you to remain silent." "Silent?" Ramsey scoffed. "I've been a cop for 19 years. I've seen him like her come in with that powerful look and leave crying. You really think she can do anything to me?" His gaze fixed on Judge Vance. She calmly thumbed through the case documents, not raising her voice, which exasperated him even more. "Look at her," Ramsey whispered, venom in his tone. "In that robe, thinking she's superior. Who gave her that job? Affirmative action, for sure. These women are good for one thing, and it's not handing down sentences." A murmur spread through the room. Some people covered their mouths. Others simply looked at him with disgust. The judge slowly raised her gaze. "Mr. Ramsey," she said firmly, "you are formally accused of aggravated assault, discriminatory conduct under oath, abuse of power, and violation of civil rights." Ramsey smirked. "And what does that mean? A fine? Suspension? I've seen far worse than me walk away." The judge didn't react. She just continued. "The court has multiple recordings of your behavior, including verbal and physical attacks and explicitly racist expressions. We also have eyewitnesses, some of them public employees. Among the materials submitted is a complete copy of the video captured by Lieutenant Davis's body camera, documenting the entire incident." Ramsey shrugged. "That won't change anything. The system has protected me my whole life. It always does. And you," he added with a twisted smile, "you're going to follow the system's rules, right?" The silence in the room grew thick, like smoke. The judge closed the file with a soft click and leaned slightly forward. "You're mistaken. You said the system has protected you your whole life, and you're probably right," she said with contained coolness. "But today, the system isn't on your side. Today, the system is me." A murmur of approval swept through the room. Ramsey swallowed hard. His smile weakened, but he still tried his last resort. "Mockery. You're not going to lock me up. You wouldn't dare. You don't have the balls, ovaries, or whatever they call them now." His lawyer buried his face in his hands. Judge Vance merely looked at him, impassive, firm. "Very well. Given your absolute contempt for the law, your lack of remorse, your documented history of complaints for similar conduct, and your inability to respect this court," she paused and dictated, "you are formally detained without bail, awaiting federal criminal trial. And I inform you that this court has requested the Civil Rights Division to expand the charges to hate crimes." The courtroom erupted in applause. Ramsey went white. For the first time, he had no control. Ramsey was removed from the courtroom in handcuffs, shouting insults that no one heard anymore. He no longer had a uniform, no longer had a badge, and for the first time in his life, he no longer had power. In the following weeks, the story exploded across every corner of the country. The headlines were all different, but the message was the same. Black judge confront her attacker in court. Historic conviction against racist officer. The slap of a hand. The fall of a system. Justice dons a black robe. During the criminal trial, more than 23 previous complaints against ex-officer Ramsey for abuse and discrimination came to light, all ignored or filed away due to lack of evidence. Now, with cameras rolling and the country watching, no one could sweep the truth under the rug. Judge Vance presided over all hearings with the same impenetrable calm she showed on the first day. She didn't raise her voice, didn't seek revenge, didn't humiliate him. She simply did what the system had never done before, applied the law equally to all. 3 months later, Ramsey was sentenced to 27 years in federal prison for abuse of authority, hate crimes, and conspiracy to cover up previous assaults with the help of other officers. Several high-ranking officials who had protected him for years also faced charges. The Atlanta Police Department was investigated. Protocols were reformed. Internal investigations were opened. And for the first time, a civilian oversight division was created to monitor the use of force. And Judge Vance became a national symbol, not because she sought fame, but because she kept her head high when everyone expected her to look down. A journalist asked her during an interview, How did you feel that day when you saw him in your courtroom? She replied without hesitation, just like when he shouted at me, "You should be in jail, lady." The difference is, this time, the only one who went to jail was him. The case was studied in law schools, inspired new legislation, and most importantly, it inspired thousands of young black women and girls who, for the first time, saw someone like them with the power to change everything. Because, as Judge Vance said at the end of her most remembered speech, sometimes justice is slow to arrive, but when it does, it doesn't need to shout. It just needs to speak with truth and be heard with respect.